I hit a deer.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 6:30, and I don't want to hold you here. It's a beautiful night out there, so we'll try to have our meeting, get that done, and then you can be on your way. We also want to give you plenty of opportunity to ask questions about what this project is going to all be about. My name is Dean Steingraber. I'm the Highway Commissioner for Waupaca County, and our Waupaca County highway crews are going to be doing the work out there. What we really want to be doing, the number one goal is to replace the pavement from the city limits all the way down to Gill's Landing. And we're going to be doing that as soon as possible. I know a lot of people say, oh my God, it's going to be fishing. We can't be doing that during fishing. Well, yeah, the primary big time fishing is in March, April, May. There's no doubt about it. But when isn't there fishing down there? And so we kind of go, when should we be doing it? Our whole focus is to get it done as soon as possible here. We're planning on starting to haul gravel across the entire length of the existing blacktop. Probably starting around the middle of May is what we're hoping for. Then we'll come in with this big old reclaiming machine, almost like a big old rototiller, and just choose the existing blacktop underneath and the gravel and intermixes it. Then we will pack it in with our compactors, get it nice and hard, and get ready to pave over the top of it. We'll pave 2 layers of blacktop over the top of that, and we're going to try to get it as wide as we possibly can without filling in wetlands or steepening up the slopes. We're hoping we can get, the shoulder point to shoulder point. There's probably about somewhere between 2 and 3 foot shoulders on average out there. We want to fill that out with blacktop all the way out. I'm hoping for 26 feet. Some of my guys are going, you're never going to get 26 feet. Well, we're hoping to get 26 feet so that we could put the white edge line at the 22-foot mark and then have, a couple foot of shoulder there, paved shoulder, for people to walk on, to bike on, to whatever. Years ago, the city really pushed for us to try to get a recreational trail all the way down to Gill's Landing. And we've talked about it with different people, the DNR, Corps of Engineers, stuff like that. Really difficult for us to do it, very expensive. They really didn't want to see us filling in a lot of that wetland. So what we're going to try to do is live with the core roadway that we have there right now, pave as much as we can, make it as convenient as we possibly can for bikers and walkers and stuff like that. So that's our plan. When we come back over the top with our second layer of blacktop, then we will fill in that last layer in the curb and gutter section inside the city limits up to Lincoln Street. A couple spots in there we got kind of blemishes that we had on that blacktop that we got put in real late last year when all of a sudden it got really cold on us. We thought, hey, we'll be able to pave till December. Well, cold weather came in really quick there and kind of got us. We got it covered up last year, but there's a couple blemishes out there we got to get repaired, got to get the manholes adjusted up, and then we'll put that last layer of blacktop over the top of that, and that section will be finished then as well. So that basically is the project. We want to start, about the middle of May. We want to be paving around the first part of June, and we want to be done. If we start paving the first part of June, we should be done by the middle of June very easily, unless we have some bad weather. But really, this type of a project isn't going to be as destructive as what we had last year between Lincoln Street, past the trailer park, past the nursing home, sausage factory. It won't be as destructive as that because we're not putting all the utilities in and stuff like that. So we're always going to have something hard for you to be driving on. If you are residents out there, we're going to make sure you have emergency services that are able to come out to your place. If you have a fire or need an ambulance or whatever, we'll make sure that you can get in and out of there. Get the services out there. Garbage pickup, all that kind of stuff. Mail delivery, stay pretty much as normal. It's going to be on gravel. It isn't going to be on mud or sand or dirt. You're going to be on gravel at the very least, and eventually on blacktop. So it shouldn't be too bad. Little patience, a little bit of patience is going to be on your part as our crews, our graders are moving up and down. You may have to kind of work around them. Just take it a little bit slow things down. Kind of go back to the good old days of slowing things down a little bit, and we'll get this thing done without any incidences. Yes, sir.
So you're looking at 26 wide and going to the 22 mark on for the white lines. So you're gonna have 2 feet on both sides for a walkway.
Now,
Why don't you shift the center line and put both 4 feet on one side for the walkway, for the bikes?
you're thinking, aren't you?
No,
But
I'll get in trouble if that happens.
I guess what we do not look at this as a trail, and we want everybody walking and biking on one side. If I would do that and have a 4 foot over on one side, when you have 2 people passing you, you're gonna have problems. We really look at this as a paved shoulder. I'm not that big of a recreation guy, right, Roger? I'm just teasing. Roger Holman here is from the Park and Rec of Waupaca County. We look at this as a paved shoulder that can be also used for walking or biking. We do not want to shift it over. If we would shift it over, you have 4 foot, that really isn't a good recreational trail. It's not wide enough. You need something 8 to 10 feet probably to be able to pass. We'd rather have one person going this way, going down to Gill's Landing, and one on the other side of the street coming the other way. Then that works better. But I know we've thought about that, when we've talked about it, we just don't have enough width out there for stuff like that. We'd have to make it quite a bit wider. And we think that, and again, I said 26 is what our goal is. We're hoping to be able to get something like that. We got to kind of see. I know Bruce Gage here is one of our workers here too, and we've talked about it as a staff. What can we get out there? We're going to try to get as much as we can without steepening the slopes. We could sit there and push that gravel out, and now we got these straight up and down you can't mow, or straight up and down someone goes off, rolls their car. We want to try to keep at least what we have there now, so it doesn't get worse. So we're hoping for 26. Maybe we can get it. So it's a challenge for us, but we're going to get as much as we can consistently from one end to the other. I can't go 28 here,
Right.
30 here, 22 here. I don't want that thing either. That will give somebody a false sense of security too if they're going down with a bike or something. So I'm going to try to get something, hit that, and stay with it all the way through. Questions? We're going to go as quick as we can to get this thing done, and hopefully it won't be too much of an inconvenience for all the people that use it. Yes, sir.
I do have a question in terms of the lanes you're talking about for walking or biking. In the spring and in the early summer, will there be a parking problem down by Gill's Landing on the road going down? Because that's going to put us right back on the highway again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, if we see that as a problem, obviously, cooler heads prevail, always, and you want to do things reasonable. But if we have to do some no parking or something like that, we'll do that. Really, honestly, along roads, there's not supposed to be any parking on the roads for those purposes. Really, when you pull over the side of a road, it's supposed to be for emergency, flat tire, engine lights on, whatever it might be. That's what that shoulder is there for. It is not to go and park and then leave that car sit there for 12 hours when I go boating, or leave it sit there for 24 hours when I go do something else. It really isn't for that. Now, I'm not too naive to know that sometimes overflow parking is necessary. That parking lot might be plumb full, and it may start working its way up. If people, again, cooler heads prevail, can kind of be careful and work their way through, everybody can coexist. But if we start having problems where people opening their doors and people are knocking their doors off, then we may have to do some things there for looking at no parking signs and stuff like that. Do you see that as being a problem down there? Has it been a problem in the past?
I think it's built up over the last couple of years where it seems to gain 1, 2, or 3 cars with trailers out
Sure.
there.
It's popular. It's a popular place to
Yeah.
go. Yeah. And it may become, more likely than anything, probably become more popular over time. But I don't know how often does that happen, and 1 day, 2 days a year, we probably live with that. If it becomes a real regular occurrence, then we probably have to take a look at what we have to do with that. I don't think it's going to be any more because, again, we're not trying to widen that road core. If they can park there on a gravel shoulder now, it's not going to be any different than a paved shoulder. It's not like we're saying, hey, come on in and encourage you to park there. They're gonna go. They're not going to want to park there unless that parking lot's full. And not because we paved the shoulder.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think, at least. That's my take out of it. And I don't want to not go pave that when that gives opportunities. When there's nobody down there, and people can come with their family and ride their bike down on a 1 or 2 foot paved shoulder. Just makes it more a safer situation. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
On the existing driveway approaches to County F, how far off of the center line or whatever, off your, or the right of way, are you gonna be paving into those?
Good question.
approaches?
Good question. If we have a paved, 2 foot paved shoulder, we won't pave any further. If we're only able to get 22 foot, we probably will put a 1 or 2 foot lip into. What we don't want, why we put those little lips on those driveways, is so that if that is where the white edge line is, I don't want that to get deteriorated out into the travel lane. Because if I'm driving along there and all of a sudden I hit one of those spots there, I could get pulled. But if I have a 2 foot paved shoulder and able to get that consistently all the way through, I'm not gonna lip it out any further. Follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you got 2 feet there before you get to the white edge line, and I think we're in good shape.
Does the homeowner have opportunity to hire?
Not us.
Okay.
Not us. We used to do that, and then there was a day when we would look for that type of work even, and because we're trying to find year-round work for our people, but we're to a point now we are less people. We used to be 85, we're at 65 now, and we have so much work right now, and then more importantly, laws and legislation really don't want us to be tampering in where there are other private sector companies could come in and do that. So we have a few contacts out there, about 3 of them. There's MCC, there's American Asphalt, and Northeast Asphalt, and there's a few more. But we have some contacts. If you are interested, we could get those for you. And then you can make those calls, and maybe if you got a bunch of people, they want to do driveways or something, you might be able to get a little bit of a better deal. Yes, sir.
Which company are you gonna use?
We're gonna do it ourselves.
You have your own hot mix?
We will purchase the hot mix. We bid that out, and we did the advertising and had a bid opening last Thursday. American Asphalt won that bid for the blacktop material production. Our trucks will haul that material down and put it in our paver, and we'll pave it and roll it. But there's American Asphalt, Northeast, MCC are all good paving contractors out there too. Questions? Any other questions? We can't wait to get this thing done because it's been something that everybody's been looking at. We kind of try to say, let's get this Lincoln Street to the city limits thing done, and then when we put the surface mat over there, boom, we're going to take it right down to Gill's Landing, and today's the day. So we're excited about getting it going. Yes, sir.
What's the projected life of the new road? I know it was, 15 years ago you did it. Is there enough base in there?
Well,
Is it low and frost?
Yeah, of course, and you guys that live there know that this isn't built on sand out here and isn't a real solid sub-base. It's a pretty, organic sub-base. There's a lot of history out there that says there's corduroy underneath there. We're not taking it out, and because that's way too expensive for us to do it. We think at least 15 years, 20 years is what we hope for, but that's what we think by putting that 4 more inches of gravel on top, that'll increase the base, along with the blacktop that's there, and then we put 3.5 inches of blacktop on top of it. It's going to be better, and so we're hoping 15 to 20 years. Probably the last time we did it, we probably just overlaid it, right? Just went right over the top. So again, we're going to improve that base, get rid of those cracks, and get that base a little bit more solid, and then pave on top of it, and hopefully it'll last longer. And a lot of it has to do with, how much traffic goes on it. And again, Gill's Landing is a point of destination. People want to go on down there. The more traffic, the harder it is. But usually it comes down to the heavy traffic that kind of beats on those roads. But hopefully it'll last a long time. Again, if we go dig it out, now we're talking, instead of a couple $100,000 a mile, we're talking $500,000 to $600,000 to $700,000 a mile, and we just don't have that kind of money to put into that. Yes, ma'am.
Will you be adding signage? versus signage pretty much?
You know, I don't know. I let that up to our sign people, go down there and see what is necessary. You know, I've driven through there. It looks like the curb signs are there and a few speed limit signs are there. I think we're in pretty good shape unless there's something else that is necessary. We don't like putting out there, you know, pedestrian crossings and all that kind of stuff. Nobody pays attention to them and stuff like that, so.
Got that right.
And,
They don't pay attention to a stop sign either, that's
Yeah.
where the road comes up on River Road.
Oh, yeah, they
And
just
where we
zip.
are, they just
Yeah.
go right on through. They don't, a lot of people don't even stop.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
It's crazy. There's been, you know, a couple times where it's been close calls, cause they think they can peek through and,
Sure.
Right, they're supposed to stop and they don't stop.
right, that's just the bottom line, yeah, they don't
Yeah.
stop.
And speed limits too. Somebody asked over here before, you're gonna put a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit on it. I said, no. If we get this smooth blacktop, people are gonna wanna drive it faster. 'Cause, I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
why they
that's
gonna
reality.
do
That's what they
stop
wanna do. They're not gonna wanna go and drive it
We
slower.
drive 80 through there.
If you want it slower, then we probably should put it in gravel and leave it in gravel. Now you got a better shot of making people.
That was me, Ray, I was doing that for you. 25, you know, so you could pay attention to everything that's going on when you're driving. That 45 is too fast for you.
I said, what are you gonna do with the ditches?
Not much. Over in that area there where we put a new pipe in and then we took the water out to the outlet. We have some ditching there to be done yet this year. But that's about it. We may do some other minor touching up, but not a lot. Not a lot. For the most part, except in that area, it drains pretty good. Hopefully now, get that ditching done, it drains.
Well, you can see
Maybe
my
you gotta-
field there, there's a lot of water in there that needs to be drained out.
Now, where's your field? What's your name?
Tony Byer,
Okay.
the cornfield right along the road there,
Okay.
where all the water sits down there. If you ditch that a little better,
It might help your field drain out a
it
little bit.
wouldn't much.
We'll take a look and see. We're gonna, do a few minor touches and stuff like that, but we're not gonna go from one end to the other and do a lot of ditching.
What are your start times and stop times when you're doing?
Oh, during the morning and in the evening. Typically, real soon here, we'll go to 4 10-hour workdays is what our normal schedule is, which would be 6 o'clock to 4 o'clock. But when we get going on some of these projects, sometimes we like to stay at it a little bit more to get it done a little faster. And it kind of depends, like the paving may go a little bit longer. You get that paver going and get the rollers going and the whole, truck, the whole train going, like, you don't like stopping it that much. So we probably will go a few more, but typically it's 6 to 4. On that, you get earlier than 6. Bruce, talk to me here. Do we get going at 5 once in a while? Maybe if it's,
Well, you get a little blacktop, get loaded a little earlier, paved by 6:30.
but by the time we get the
Yeah.
load and then get out there, it's probably out in front of your house, probably about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is that too early? Okay, I'm not gonna wake anybody up or anything? Okay.
Oh,
Doesn't
gosh,
matter, we need to
no.
get it done.
Okay.
I'm up way before then. I'm working already.
And sometimes in the cities,
I'm working already.
sometimes you work in the cities and they have some restrictions on when you can get going. Don't have that here, right?
Just curiosity.
Just get her done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you, raise the road level up to whatever, because of, well, we don't know that at this point.
Well,
Who's-
4 inches of gravel and 3.5 inches of blacktop. You
Yep.
can kind of say that. So it's gonna be on an average,
Yep.
7.
Who's responsible off the blacktop to make, easy transition?
Yeah, good question. Do you have blacktop there now or gravel there?
I have gravel.
Yep. We will usually transition it from that shoulder point out and feather it on out. Usually on gravel, we'll usually take it back, 10, 15 feet, maybe close to the right-of-way line. If it's blacktop, we gotta match that in then too. So, how many people have blacktop driveways out there? Anybody have blacktop?
Yep.
Okay, we may have to transition that in a ways. Not 100 feet or
No.
anything, but,
At the end, that's fine.
back a little bit.
What happens if you already have a pretty steep angle?
Yeah, spend
Our
10,000,
our
say
driveway
200.
probably should have a culvert in it already. Now
Okay.
you're talking about raising it even more.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. If you want to, make those comments on that sheet there. And back up here, I wanna make sure that everybody signed this thing. And, I'm gonna pass this around, make sure you signed it, you know, your address, you know, your email and all that kind of stuff. Did you get a chance here? You did? I'm just gonna, if you wanna just pass it on down. I'd like to have everybody on there. And then we have that other comment sheet. If you have some of those issues, you want us to meet with you and take a look at your driveway, your culvert, you know, how steep it is. We can do some modifications there to make that a little bit better. Did everybody get one of these comment sheets?
I'll take one.
Okay. And make sure you write that down, your phone number and all that stuff, and then we'll get it to our foreman and they'll come out and meet with you. But if you have a very steep spot there, we don't want that either. We don't want you coming up like this onto the road.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
want you,
what ours is.
we don't want you coming down like this either, because that slides out onto the road. It's a dangerous situation. So we'll take a look at that and see if we can. I haven't really noticed a lot of those bad ones out there, but maybe you got one, maybe you got one, and we can maybe fix that up a little bit.
I got my driveways level with the road right now.
Yeah, and like you said, it's gonna come up a little bit, so now there's gonna be a little bit of a slope there.
That's fine, yeah, yeah.
We don't want it, we want it to be safe when it's all done.
Yeah, just don't send that, the woman engineer out there too much, you know.
Enough said, I guess. I was waiting for what to-
Engineering, that ditch over there, she spent 2 years engineering that,
Okay.
and still didn't have it done yet.
Okay,
Right,
well, we'll
yeah.
get her done now. We weren't able to do the ditching along there, but I think all the stakes are there. We'll get those taken care of.
Yeah.
All right.
The question came up about the longevity of the,
Road?
yeah, the rework on this. Is there gonna be any, weight limits put on to keep that?
Class B highway, are
I'm
you?
not asking
Yep.
for them, I'm just,
Yep.
is there?
Well, I've been saying a long time, and the gentleman is in the house here right now. I've been saying it for a long, but I think his term as town chairman of Weyauwega is gonna be done here in April.
3 weeks, yeah.
But I've said we'd love to work with the town of Weyauwega and make that a town road. Now, Roger over there says, man, my county park is on the end of that road. But we've talked about that. Why too, maybe then we can keep the traffic down a little bit, but they're still good, that's a destination point. Now they're operating, and that probably isn't a great idea. It's just something I've been fooling around with for a while, and it's probably not gonna work. The other thing we can do is put a Class B weight limit on it. One of the biggest concerns down there is, I don't know how many farming fields are down there. I heard you say there's a cornfield there, you have, Mr. Byer, and, there's gonna be some amount of agriculture, manure, crops, that kind of stuff. But a Class B highway does reduce the weight legally that someone can drive down there. But the weird part about that dead end, people always are gonna say they have business down there. They have business to go to the park. They have business, what have you, but we might be able to, Class B highway and try to keep, the weights off of that. 60% of your legal load if you go to a Class B. You could go to something like a 20-ton or whatever, but, county
And I
highways.
get charged double on shipping my grain.
Yeah, county highways, but, Class B allows the people that have business there, like a farm field, to go at legal load 100%. If you have business, if Roger Holman has business down there and needs concrete delivered down to the park to fix up the wall or something like that.
Yeah.
He's got business down there, they can go 100%. And typically on a dead end, that Class B doesn't work as well, because it's not like they're cutting through to anywhere. They're not using it as a shortcut to go where? Across the river? Well, no, you can't do that either. So everybody's always gonna say, I'm going down there, because they have business down there. And if you have business there, then you can go legal load. So Class B probably isn't the way to do it. But, we've scratched our heads on this. Give it to the township, put a Class B on it. None of the options really are good. And I guess the best thing we can do is try to build it the best we can and make it last as long as we can. There's not much else you can do. And if a guy's got farm fields down there, there's no other way for him to get there. He's got to use that road, and those are some of the probably the heavier loads that go out there typically. But, you know, I don't know what else you can do except completely reconstruct it at, you know, for millions of dollars, and, you know, that's just too expensive. Any other questions? Jack?
As long as Roger's here, and the county board passed the resolution
Yeah.
on Gill's Landing, why don't you let him explain what seawall situation is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you mind, Roger?
no, that's not a problem. About 5 years ago, we noted that we had an issue on the seawall, and we're starting to see it cave in and things. Unfortunately, we missed the last go around of the bond package because they switched it from a 2-year bond package to a 3-year, so we had to wait a little longer. We've got an estimate for the work to be done on it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come in and put a seawall over the top of the seawall, put a cap right over the top. And that way, it'll last another 20, 30 years, and it'll meet the needs out there. The county board approved applying for a grant from the state, looking to get back some of your tax dollars that you pay for your boat tax and that type of thing back in the area. The estimated cost right now is $295,000 to redo the seawall. 50% has to come from the county, 50% from the state, we're hoping is what we'll get out of this. Our goal is to try to get it done at the end of this year, provided we get the grant. If we don't get the grant, then we'll shoot into the next year. But we'll avoid, unlike Dean, we will avoid the fishing period. He doesn't have a choice. We will try to avoid that. We'll either do it in the middle of summer, or we'll wait until the fall when it's not as heavy out there. Obviously, the spring is not a good time for us to be down there doing anything with that. So our goal is to get it done this year. That's providing the state gives us a grant for it. And we'll fix that up, and it'll be a better seawall. And other things we're looking at, and we keep changing out there, the parking lot. We went to a different type of user fee. We are now looking at putting in some restrictions in the parking lot, requiring more permit parking. We don't have any out there right now. You do have to have a permit if you launch, but we're looking at making that more restrictive, providing more parking actually for those that are using the launch than those that are using the seawall. And that's kind of a goal we have, is to kind of match up with what we've got out there. So we're working on that also.
Do you think parking would address his issue?
Not
anyway?
necessarily.
Not
What he's
necessarily.
talking about in the spring is just a
Overflow.
major overflow. They park all over the place out there. They park on top of the trees out there if they could. I mean, you go down there and they're everywhere. And it is quite amazing. It's even more amazing when you go down there during the flood period and watch them park in the middle of the parking lot and launch their boat wherever they're parked.
Roger, one quick question. On those boat ramps,
Mhm.
whose design was that they're like this?
The design that's in there is actually a brake design, and if you look at it, it's kind of like my finger here. You can't see it. It comes down at this slope and then it breaks at the bottom. The reason behind the break at the bottom is because of low water. If we didn't have that, you wouldn't be able to launch your boat when the water gets down lower. And
Well, I've pulled quite a few of the old timers
Yep.
trailers out of there.
Yep.
Because
Initially,
they get over that lip.
Yep, they get over that lip in
And
a long
they're
time.
with them and being built on that bend where them ramps could have been pulled into the parking lot a little bit more too.
But we tried to pull them in, and I will say the state wouldn't let us move them back into the parking lot. We tried to bring them in, they wouldn't let us. The lower launch is a little easier. If somebody uses that, they'll find it a little easier to launch down there. That's a little more gentle transition into the water.
Right, the one in the far.
Right. But the
Up
one in the
Riverside.
middle, the two in the middle were designed to allow
Down
for launching
Riverside.
at all levels of water. So when you get low water, you can still launch in there. If we didn't do it that way, you wouldn't be able to launch. And then the other thing we did find out is that the toe of our concrete, we have to go in there occasionally and replace rock in there because it's getting washed out, and some of the guys you were pulling out are getting stuck on the bottom when it's low water. And that's usually what happens, they drop off the end. And then we usually try to sign it, let them know there might be that possibility. Make sure our permits are up to speed, and then go in and put rock down in there.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? Otherwise, thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, again, get a hold of us here. I do have a few cards here I can leave if anybody wants one. And we're looking forward to a good project. Thank you very much. And thanks to the city for letting us use your facility here. Hey, Jack's buying. Jack's buying? Where? Jack's buying. Jack's.
We're going to his house.
Ray, you don't wanna get a hold of me.
You guys done a hell of a job last time. 20 years ago.
This is the time we can come here.
20 years ago, I wasn't there though, so I can't take any credit.
Yeah, well, see, they used to.